Okay, this demo is going to go over the image trace feature. Now, this is a feature that I didn't want to teach you until the end of the year, towards the end. That's why we cover it in logo design, because you're going to think it's like a cheat to the pen tool, but really, you need to know how to use the pen tool. That's why I had you learn the pen tool first. But there are times when you just need a little icon, and it could be very tedious to spend your time pen tooling over these things when you can very easily just use this image trace tool. However, it's important to note the image trace tool only works on vectors, not photographs, and it only works on really high res images. And I'm going to show you some things that will work and won't work. So how this works is you'd first go to the internet and you would search for something, some kind of image that you need for your logo, right? So if I'm designing a logo for a hardware store, maybe I need an image of a hammer. But I want to make sure I always put the word vector after it, because then I'm going to get a hammer that's more likely easily to be created in with image trace in Illustrator. And you don't want something with gradients or color fades. You want something very, very basic. So something like this would work well. You would then right click and copy image and paste it into here. So I'm going to do it first on this hammer, and you can see that it's a flat JPEG. It can be scaled, right? But we can't change the color, and we need to pop it out of this white background so that we can use it in our logo. So to do that, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to click on Object and then Image Trace, Make. And it will seem like nothing happened. Then up here you have your options. If you don't see these options, make sure you're in the workspace layout. So under Window, Workspace, Layout. That way you get your options across the top. You can click this little notepad here that's going to pop up the image trace options. And from here you have a slider bar where you can kind of like slide it up. You see it's not doing much with this one until you get it how you like it. And then you're going to expand at the top. This is really the most important part because right now it's still a flat JPEG. But as soon as I click expand, this is where the magic happens. It's going to basically turn all of these parts into vectors as if I had drawn them with the pen tool. So it's literally saving me like a good 5-10 minutes of tracing time and just popping it into a vector. So with this image selected, I'm going to click on expand. Boom, it's now all been traced out for me. I need to navigate over to the white plus arrow. So hold down on that white arrow to make sure it's white plus. It will not work with the black arrow. You're going to click off so that nothing is selected. And then with the white plus, you're just going to click on the white background and then hit delete on your keyboard. If you tried to go with the black arrow, everything is still grouped. And you see you do need to get rid of that little vector stock stuff at the bottom. So again, back to the white plus, swipe around, and delete. Now your hammer is free to be vector, right? So I could change this to a different color, the handle to a different color. Sometimes when I do go to try to change the colors, it gets locked in a grayscale mode. Right now it's not doing that. But if it were to be locked in grayscale, you would just find your color palette and you would click on these little lines and you would switch from grayscale to CMYK. So right now it's letting me change the colors of this hammer. Let's make the handle black. So I'm going to go back to my plus arrow because this item is grouped and I need to work inside the group. So now I'm going to click off and then back on the hammer, just on this part though. I'm going to make that part black. I'm going to make this part silver. And I'll make this part a little bit lighter. That's a little bit too light, right? Okay, so you can see now I have this image and it's vector and it can be rotated and scaled and used in my logo, right? Maybe I use it as some kind of icon for a logo for a hardware store or something. Now, if you try to do this image trace option, but you do it on something like this one's a little blurry. You can see all the pixelation. This one's a little too light and it has watermarks all over it. So neither of these are going to have a great outcome. So if I click on this one, I go up here to Object, Image Trace, Make. You can see that that looks awful, right? I do want it in color, so I can change the mode to color. Again, the more intense the image, the longer this process might take. Be sure to save your work because things could crash while you're doing this, especially if you're trying to image trace a really large image. So definitely save your work, Control S, before you start the image trace process, just so you don't lose anything. This one's really taking a while. Now, every time you slide that bar, it's going to go through this progress again. So I don't want to do it more than once, just so I don't waste your time. Let's see what happens. Okay, not bad. But if I go to expand it now, and now it's all in vector, I'm going to go back to my white arrow. Notice how the watermark is part of it, right? And there's really like no getting out of that. So you don't want to do this with watermarked images because look how it's like, it's actually deleting away the piece, right? The text is actually built into that. So it's really not going to do much on a photo or on a watermarked image. It's not really going to work. And then here it is on a blurrier image, right? If we try that, we'll try Object, Image Trace, Make. It doesn't look good at all. We'll slide it up. Not too bad. You can see that the letters are totally not coming through. And you don't want to use image trace type anyway. You always want to use your type tool to have clean, readable text. But if you just needed this leaf icon, maybe that looks okay, right? You could then expand and then click off, white plus arrow, click on the background, delete, swipe this, get rid of that. And now at least you have this part broken out. The last one, this ampersand, this is a really high quality JPEG. You can see how nice and crisp that is. This one's going to have a beautiful result. So if we go to Object, Image Trace, Make, and then expand, you'll see that that's going to look perfect. No issues there at all. So the higher res your JPEG is, the cleaner the lines are, the better your solution. So here you have these nice clean icons that you can then use towards your logo design. All right, so that's a little bit of image trace.